All right, guys, we're going to do the world's greatest leg warm-up. For beginners, this could be your whole workout. Once you can make it through this warm-up, your goal is to move through it faster and faster and faster. We're going to start off with a light jog. So we're just going to start off with a light jog. All right, and a lot of times, you know, this is all people do for a warm-up, which is fine. All right, but when you train athletes who have a serious risk of injury, you really want to warm up properly. All right, so just start off with a light jog. After the light jog, we're gonna go high knees. So high knees is really like, I mean, you know, if you really want to make sure you're getting your knees parallel, you can put your hands here. All right, high knees right here. This is from the side, high knees. All right, this is the second thing that we do is high knees. Third thing we do is going to be butt kickers. Butt kickers is exactly what it sounds like, is you want to kick yourself in the butt, all right, like this. The point is to warm up your hamstrings, all right? There's an incorrect way to do this. If you're bringing your knees up right here and kicking yourself in the butt, that's the wrong way to do it. You want to keep your knee pointed straight down, and you want to bring your heel to your butt like this. That's warming up the hamstrings, all right? I want to do some butt kickers. I don't know, 10, 20 yards, 10, 15 seconds. This is where I like to kind of stretch out my calf muscle. Mostly this is my excuse to catch my breath, because I'm really not in shape. You know, all these muscles just for looks. All show, no go, all right? So we're gonna use this opportunity just to be efficient with our time, catch our breath, all right, stretch out the calf. We're also going to do some ankle stretch, okay? So you want to lay your foot down on the side like this, all right? This will really help you out and prevent you rolling your ankle in any kind of sport, all right? You want to warm up your ankle, and what I'm doing right now is I'm laying my foot down on the ground, right? But I'm putting pressure, okay? So you want to roll it from the heel all the way to the toe, okay? And really, you could lean into this as hard as you want. All right, and over time you'll get more flexibility. We'll do the other side. Lay your foot on the side, roll it from the toe to the heel, and then now you can even roll your ankle around like this. And look, if you never get an ankle injury for the rest of your life, great, but this might save you from a really bad ankle sprain, all right? Because this will give you some give, you know, if you land on your foot the wrong way, all right? The next thing we're gonna do is lateral shuffles, all right? So we're just gonna go like this, all right? Lateral shuffles. So what you want to focus on here is really make sure you're using your butt more than your quads, because most of the population is quad dominant, and their glutes are inactive. All right, now we're gonna go back the other way. All right, if you're on a baseball field, or I mean a football field, you know, you can measure 10 yards and go forward and back. It doesn't really matter, you know. If you're more athletic, you could go longer, faster. Next thing we're gonna do, this is more a move that soccer players are familiar with. We're gonna do a carioca. A carioca, I'm gonna do in slow motion. Carioca is just running sideways, so you're gonna go like this, and then bring the leg behind, and then we're gonna do this, so it's pretty much like jogging sideways. I'll show you what it looks like when these people get out of my way. All right, let's go, right, like this. All right, that warm ups your hips. You wanna get your hips warmed up. We're gonna go back the other way, like this, all right? Really want to make sure we get those hips warmed up. All right. Next thing we're going to do is similar to what we just did, but we're going to call it a mini carioca. Often called a mini-oka. We're just quick step. All right. Same movement, but we're going to do it as fast as we can with small steps. All right. So like this. All right. Really just warm up those hips. All right. Kind of look like a salsa dancer right here. We go back the other way. If you're doing it with like youth athletes or even professional athletes, it gets kind of fun because then people are racing back and forth. We'll call these our walking glute warm-ups or our walking exercises. So I'm going to start on my tippy toes. Purpose of this is to warm up. Purpose of this is to warm up your glute muscles. All right, so you're going to keep your knees locked. Walk on your tippy toes. Make sure you're using your butt muscle to really pull yourself forward, because what you want to do is get your glute muscles ready for whatever you're doing, squats, you know, jumping, running, whatever. All right, and we'll do this 10, 20 yards, whatever. And when we go back, you know, we'll just keep going this way. Next, we're gonna walk on our heels and gonna keep the knee locked, okay? Stiff leg, still warming up the butt. At this point, you should be really feeling it in your ass, all right? If your butt muscle is not burning right now, what you're gonna need to do is do some glute activation exercises. It's not gonna fix it in one day. All right, it's taken me a lot of years because I used to be an office worker for like the first 30 years of my life, right? I had no glute activation. I'm only now really figuring out how to fully use my posterior chain. So we went about 10 yards forward. Now we're gonna go backwards on our heels. Again, keep your knees locked. Forces your butt to do all the work. All right. And your butt should be on fire by now, okay? All right, next walking exercise we're gonna do. Again, we're gonna keep the knee joint locked up. We're gonna roll from the heel to the tippy toe, okay, like this. I need to find a better name for these exercises. I don't know what to fucking call this. Just rolling from the heel to the tippy toe. It's gonna warm up your glute and your calf muscle at the same time. And as you can see, I've structured this warm up to really fit my lifestyle. If you're an athlete, I want to make you go a lot more intense. But for me, this part is here so I can catch my breath, okay? So now we got our glutes properly warmed up. The next is going to be an ankle jog. So similar, actually, my bad, that's called an ankle walk because you're really just using your ankle joint to walk. Next, we're going to do the same thing. This is difficult, especially if you keep your knee locked. But we're going to jog using just our ankles, right? Same thing we just did, roll from the heel to the tippy toe. But we're going to pick up the pace. Once you try this at home, you'll see why it's so hard, okay? We're going to jog using our ankle joint only, keeping the knee joint locked. All right, so picking up the intensity a little bit. So there is just the first part of the warm-up. The second part of a proper warm-up is called your dynamic stretching. We're going to start with Frankenstein kicks, which warm up the hamstring. Frankenstein kicks, because you look like Frankenstein. You want to keep your arms and your legs straight. All right? Everything I'm doing looks very easy, which it is, but it's also easy to do it incorrectly. So I see a lot of people round their lower back when they do this, like this. That's the wrong way to do it, okay? Like this is wrong. You want to keep this part straight so you're stretching the right muscle. The only thing that you should feel stretched is your hamstring right here. If you're going like this, one way to fix that is take a deep breath and hold it before you do the movement. Keeps this part tight. So do this. It'll help right here. So, but the point is to not round your lower back really when you do anything in life. So the lower back is really not meant to round when it's taking weight, all right? So now hamstrings nice and stretched. Now we're gonna stretch out our, take the opposite hand, grab the opposite ankle, and then stick your other hand in the air. We're going to stretch out the hip and the quads. Take our hand and grab the opposite ankle and pull like that and stick the other arm in the air. This stretches out the hip muscle and the quad. Okay, so if you're walking like me, the cadence you want to get used to is, okay, you stretch, step, 2, 3, stretch, 2, 3, 4, stretch, 2, 3, 4, stretch, 2, 3. Okay, so we got our quads and our hips stretched out. Next thing we're gonna do is knee to the chest. Knee to the chest looks like this. Exactly what it sounds like. This stretches out the hip and the hamstring. The best way to do this is to kind of lean down and grab your knee while it's right here, and then stand back up. Okay, instead of standing up and then try to pull your knee, it's just, for me, it's more effective to bring your knee to the chest down here and then stand up like that. But I mean, as long as you're doing this, that's all that's important. But there's always a way to improve everything you do, no matter how simple it seems. All right, next thing we're gonna do is a glute piriformis stretch. So how to do this is you're going to bring your leg up like this, grab your knee and your ankle, and then pull up. Some people just grab their ankle, which is fine, but it puts a lot of pressure on the knee, so you want to grab your knee just for support. 1, 2, 3, pull, step, 2, 3, other leg, step, 2, 3. Oh, raise the roof. What's up? Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, we got a little athlete in the house. All right. 2, 3, pull. All right, now we got our piriformis muscle. Piriformis is that ass muscle that kind of runs from here down the side of your leg. All right, my friends, we're gonna do the world's greatest stretch. The world's greatest stretch is made up of a few different movements. I'll do it in real time first, and then I'll break it down for you, okay? So here's in real time. Crawl it out, do a push-up, bring the leg up, stretch the hip right here, hamstring, and this move is the Spider-Man. Make sure you keep your hands on the ground, and then your leg on the ground, and then what you're trying to stretch out this muscle right here. Come back to the center. Now we're gonna rotate up here. You're gonna feel some, if something pops, don't worry. Okay, and we're gonna repeat on the other side, okay? Stretch out the hamstrings, crawl it out, bring the other leg up here. All right, stretch the hamstring and the hip, crawl it out to the side, hands flat on the ground, stretching out right here, back to the center, rotate towards your front leg, hands straight up in the air, bring your chest out, all right? And you do a few on each side. We call that the world's greatest stretch. Warms up everything. If you want to skip the push-up, that's fine. The push-up just, it works everything out. Now for the third part of warming up is what we call specific warm-up. I like to start with a simple skip. All right, so we're just gonna skip for maybe 10 or 20 yards like this. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is skip for height. All right, so now we're gonna skip, and for each skip we're gonna go as high as we possibly can. All right, so skips for heights, let's go. Whoop. All right, next thing we're gonna do is skip for distance. All right, so on each skip, we're gonna go as far as we can on each skip. All right, now we're gonna skip for distance. On each skip, we're gonna skip as far as we can go. So really, depending on what your sport is, you can adjust these, but the skips will work for any sport. Now we're gonna do gazelle hops. It's kind of like sprinting in slow motion. Gazelle hops is basically just sprinting and going as far as you can on each step. Next thing we're gonna do ice skater hop, similar to what we just did, but we're gonna go diagonal. So we're gonna do the same thing we just did, but we're gonna go diagonal. And then for most people that's enough. Another thing you could do for your specific warm-up, and these are high intensity movements. You're using all your power because you're mimicking the sport specific movement that you're about to do. Next thing we're gonna do is just long jumps, just standing long jumps. This is good for football players, basketball players, just about any sport. All right. And there you go. That's probably the world's greatest warm-up for leg day. Not probably. I'm willing to put money that there, my friend, is the goddamn world's greatest motherfucking leg warm-up. Because that's a workout for me, man. I don't know about you. For a 36-year-old man, that's my goddamn workout. For an athlete, that's your warm-up.